Good evening or morning or whatever time of the day it happens to be. Welcome one, welcome all to the Writer's Black podcast. A very special episode closing out 2025. Maybe not with a bang, but at least with something. And given my track record, I'll take something. I'm your host, Greg Nikas, joined alongside my host, Greg Nikas. That's right. You're getting a solo episode of Writer's Black podcast this week. We didn't have a guest lined up. Taylor could not fit this recording into her schedule, and I had an idea for maybe a little bit of an experimental episode of the podcast. So if this is not your thing, if you at any point in this go, I don't really want to, I don't, it's not for me. That's fine. I get it. I understand. We'll see you guys in the new year when we come back with new episodes. 2025 has been a really bad year for a lot of people, and I am no exception to that. For me, it has been what I'm hoping is the finale to a trilogy of bad years. So about a year ago, I had an idea for a children's book centered around the illustrated adventures of my geckos, Agape and Eros. The idea for the book, it's called Agape and Eros Take a Ride. And the premise is Agape and Eros, maybe they're like sweeping or something, cleaning up the tank, cleaning up the cave, whatever they're doing. And outside the window, they see their giant show up, like an Attack on Titan-sized giant just in front of their view. Their giant is me, by the way. And their giant takes one in each hand and takes them on a magic giant ride where they are shown things that they never see because they're little geckos in a tank. So, like, here's the top of the fridge. Here's under the bed. Here's your reflection in a mirror. Here's outside. That's the whole idea for the book. It's meant to be like a little kid's picture book. The kind of thing you sit with your kid and you read them and they can ooh and ah over the pretty pictures. I have been struggling for, I want to say 2.5 years now to learn how to draw. I think I've plateaued. I think I've gotten as good at it as I'm going to get. So that's not on the docket for today. Maybe I'll do like a little stick illustrations or something to kind of get the idea across of what I want when I take it to an artist. The idea for today's podcast is we're going to sit. I have a pen and a pad of paper, and we are going to write Agape and Eros Take a Ride. If that's not your thing or not what you're here for, I completely understand. It's probably going to be a very scattershot episode, a lot of rambling, a lot of incoherency, and a lot of my very grating voice. So I completely understand if this one's not your thing. And again, no hard feelings. We'll see you guys in the new year. But that is what we're doing today on the podcast. So, yeah. If you're enjoying this podcast, or you just feel like you're in the holiday spirit because it's the holiday season, please consider leaving us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, leaving us a comment, letting us know how we're doing, following along on our social medias at Writers Black Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, where you can see video clips from the podcasts. And of course, following along over on our Patreon, where at the beginning of the year, we're going to start rolling out the video podcast. So we're going to have the video versions of the podcast coming out on our Patreon. They're going to start coming out week by week. So we're going to start with the very first episode of season 2 with me and Taylor, going into Cassidy, going into Ryan LaSala, going into Claire Bell Ortega, Christy Mandan, so on and so forth. Keep your eyes out on the Patreon for the video podcast coming out at the beginning of the year. Also, if you or someone you know is a writer who's looking to kind of promote their work, get their brand out there, get their knowledge out there, please consider sending an email to writersblackpod@gmail.com, whether it is guest suggestions, whether it is episode theses, whatever you want to let us know about. That email is the best way to get a hold of us. So writersblackpod@gmail.com is our official email address to let us know about all the hip happenings that you want us to know about. All right, so without further ado, let's get into Agape and Eros Take a Ride. So I guess starting off, right, I have a book for reference. When I had the idea for Agape and Eros, I wanted it to be based kind of on the look and feel of a series I loved as a little kid called Mr. Putter and Tabby. Mr. Putter and Tabby is about the adventures of the elderly Mr. Putter and his cat Tabby as they just have adventures. They just do crazy stuff. My favorite one was always Mr. Putter and Tabby Fly the Plane. The two that I picked up from Half Price Books for my own reference here are Mr. Putter and Tabby Make a Wish and Mr. Putter and Tabby Clear the Deck. I loved these books growing up. They were so sweet and so charming. Like, the art style is so cute. The books themselves are adorable. And I do genuinely just adore these books. They're laid out in like little tiny chapters, like, you know, little 2 or 3 page chapters for little kids. It's the kind of book that you sit with your toddler and you read them the book and they go, yay! On each page that I'm writing on, I'm going to do a rough little layout sketch of the page. Page 1 is going to be an art page followed by a text page. Chapter 1 we're going to call cleanup, because the setup will be, again, they're cleaning up the cave. The first 2 pages, the first spread of pages, I want to start with art, and then I want to go into the text page. So the first page of art, I want, let's say we'll have Gecko Eros. Gecko Agape. Agape is sweeping. We're going to give him a broom, and he's just sweeping, having a good old-fashioned time in the tank with the cave right behind him, maybe. And then we're going to have, I want a little lawn chair where Eros is sunbathing. Give him little sunglasses that he's actually going to have, because Eros is blind, so I think that'd be really funny. And the light bulb overhead. This is like some Blue's Clues level illustration. This is some handy-dandy notebook-looking stuff. On page 2, we'll start with text. Page 2 will be the first quote-unquote chapter, and we're going to call it cleanup. Or housekeeping, maybe. I don't know. Something about spring cleaning, maybe. Spring was finally here, and Agape couldn't wait to start cleaning. Eros had a different objective in mind. Sunbathing. Work on his tan. Let's say that. Let's say work on his tan. So, second set of pages 3 and 4. Just like that, we're already at 3 and 4. 3 and 4, I want art on both pages, but not like a full page spread for example, not a full page spread, just like, you know, little snippets. All right, so for page 3, hibernation always made the tank messy. I misspelled hibernation, but that's okay because I caught it immediately. But it's in pen, so it's permanent now. It's there. I'll do words. I'll go up here in like the upper left-hand corner, and then we'll have the picture in the bottom. What I'm thinking is Agape and Eros looking out their window, wearing little like nighttime hats, you know. So they'll have like the little pointy hat with the ball, and like maybe they're both wearing some like kind of striped pajamas. That's what I think we'll do. To whoever illustrates this for me, I am so sorry that I'm kind of a pest. They'll have Agape and Eros looking out the window at the end of page 3, and then I think we will do page 4 with Agape and Eros asleep. The crickets have the run of the place. And boy, do they love to party. I'm going to write in the section I would be drawing in. I'm just going to say crickets partying like SpongeBob and the jellyfish. That's a topical reference for you if you don't get it. Then we'll do one more set of pages for chapter 1, quote unquote chapter 1. Grab a broom, Eros, Agape said. We need to get this place in shipshape. Make this place shipshape? Get this place shipshape. Get this shipshape. Where's my phone? Is the expression get this place in shipshape or get this place shipshape? Get this place shipshape. Okay, cool. We need to get this place shipshape. But we've been asleep all winter, Eros said. Can't we do something fun? Can't we do something fun first? ? Like what? Agape asks. And then, like what? Agape asks. So maybe like, this is going to be hard for me to draw my little stick drawings. But like, maybe this is like the side of his head here. Okay, like what? That's chapter 1. That's 6 pages is chapter 1. Chapter 2 is called The Giant. And for the art description, I'm going to say Agape and Eros look out the tank window at their giant, torso only. The giant came around every day to check on the geckos. We'll say geckos. We won't shorten it. We'll just say geckos. The giant came around every day to check on the geckos. It was excited to see the duo was awake. Page 8. The giant lowered its hand into the tank for Agape for the geckos to board. Let's roll, Eros said, climbing into the giant's hand. So I think page 9 and page 10 will be the last of chapter 2. So chapter 2 is only 2 pages. Or 4 pages? How many? I don't know how to do math. And then I want to end... What if it's like a double page spread, right? So what if it's like... So what if the arm of the giant comes down through page 10, and then it just ends up on page 9, and that's where the geckos are climbing in through. I like that, actually. I think that's a good way of doing this. So then page 9. I don't know, Eros, Agape said. That train's getting loud. We're gonna wait. We're just gonna wait the train out. Stupid train, that's stupidness. I don't know, Agape said. Back to this. Okay, here we are. It might be dangerous. It could be dangerous, Eros. Or it could be I don't know, Eros. It could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. It could be dangerous because then the follow-up line is going to be like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy or something like that. I would say, I don't know, Eros. There's just so much to do. There's just so much to do here. I don't know. I think the all work and no play line works here. Let's go with that. I can change things later. I just need to get the rough draft of this done. I need to get the bare bones elements of this done. Let's do it. Let's rock it. For my own reference, on page 10, so the arm is like reaching in for the geckos, the hand and them getting on connects on page 9. So for the text for page 10, it's all work and no play. I'm gonna make a little squiggly mark on that above the arm, and then there's gonna be another then there's gonna be more dialogue underneath the arm. I guess a little adventure couldn't hurt, Agape said. Agape responded. Agarpe? I wrote Agarpe. His name is Agarpe now. Okay, that's page 10. That's page 9. All right, cool. Got some good pages so far. Now we're on the adventure. Now we're on to 3. Chapter 3, part 3, whatever we want to call it. I think we got to the giant ride maybe too quick, but again, we can go back. We can mess with this more if we need to. 11 and 12. Gonna have 11 and 12. Yeah. So I want page 11 to just be an art spread of the two geckos riding on the giant's shoulder. 3 is just called Adventure. The giant put Agape and Eros on its shoulder and showed them all around the house. I was going to say realm, showed them all around the realm, but I got to remember kids book. So showed them all around the house should be fine, right? God, do I want to put that though on page 12 and make 11 just purely art? Or I could flip it, have 11 be the art, or have 11 be the words, and then 12 be the lone page of art. So I can put more text on 11. I think that's what I'll do, actually. We're going to do that. We're going to do 11 is text, 12 is art. Flip that. I'm just going to put arrows so I can remember what goes where. Or just number them. I don't know. 12 and 11. All over the house. Showing them things they've never seen before. Showing them things never before seen. Going into 13 and 14. Of how many pages, I don't really know because I'm not smart. Okay, so this is when we're getting into the simpler stuff like, oh, here's this. Oh, here is this. And also this. And this thing too. And I think I want Agape to have a camera around, like his little like SLR around his neck. I'll just say this. I'll say Agape cleared his camera. He was so excited. He was so excited to see the world outside of the tank. Page 14. They saw the herd of dust bunnies atop the fridge. I knew I should have brought my broom, said Agape. Maybe change the word herd of dust bunnies to stampede. I think that's funnier. Agape and Eros on top fridge is the other descriptor. On to 15 and 16. Next, the giant took them to a waterfall. Next, the giant took them to see one of the 7 wonders of the world, a waterfall. I'm trying to think how the specifics of this will work. I think what I want to do is have the picture be the giant's hand, right? And then like rushing water without really like too much like input of what's going on. And then we got geckos. And then the next page is like a zoomed out thing where you can see that the geckos are actually in the sink. Like they're in the kitchen sink getting a drink of water. And then so that'll be page 16 is them and the clear reveal they're in the sink. And it's like I want Eros is licking it. Eros is drinking the water. Be careful, Eros. You don't know where that water's been. Be careful, Eros, said Agape. Yeah, let's just say be careful, Eros, because I think at this point you know who's talking, maybe? I don't know. Be careful, Eros. You don't know where that water has been. It tastes better at home, Eros responded. I guess it has to go in 4s regardless. So it doesn't have to be that many pages, but it has to go into 4s. So if I don't have enough pages, I have to do like a table of context page and an author page and whatever else. That's fine. That we can make that work. Let's get through it. Let's just figure it all out. Okay, so page 17. Agape and Eros under the bed. And Agape and Eros in the mirror. Under the bed. Agape flashes camera. It looks like cave. Looks like a cave. Like a cave, but with socks and stuffed animals. Agape takes picture with flash. That's a lot of instruction for that. Maybe maybe having more instruction is better for these. What did I say? That was next, right? Then Agape marveled at the strangeness of the underground world. And that's them under the bed. Agape takes a picture, and Eros says it smells like feet. Agape and Eros gaze at their own reflections, will be the descriptor for the page 18 art, and a funhouse mirror awaited them. The giant took them to some kind of carnival. Who is that? So it'll be, who's that good-looking guy, says Agape, and pardon me, sir, says Eros. 19 and 20. 20 and 19 and 19 and 20. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I could do one more fun thing for the... Where else would I show the geckos? No, let's get on to the next bit. So page 19 will be the end of what chapter 4? Is that what we're on now? 4 going into 5, I think? Right? 3. Yeah, 3. So we're going into 4. 4 is the great outdoors. Okay, so for the page 19 illustration, I'm going to draw a circle, which is like supposed to be the back of a doorknob. I'll draw what look like fingers on it because it's getting turned. And then the gecko is popping their heads out from behind the doorknob, like they're on the hand as the hand's reaching for the knob, that kind of a thing. All of this was so much fun, but nothing could prepare Agape and Eros for what happened next. I don't know. This day was already so much fun, but Agape and Eros weren't prepared for what happened next. I don't know. I don't like that as much, but we'll just... 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20, 24, 28... I could probably go 32 pages, right? I'm going to do 32 pages. I'm going to shoot for... So I have 12 more pages to figure out for the geckos getting back into the thingy. The world outside the house was bigger than either of them could have imagined. So 21 and 22, I know what... I kind of want a few of these to be at least. So page 21. I think I'm going to make 21 and 22 a 2-page spread of the geckos on a puzzle table. Agape and Eros sat down to help the giant finish his puzzle. Agape and Eros sat on the patio, helping the giant finish his puzzle. I'll probably just keep this on the same notebook page for 23 and 24. Page 23 will be... Okay, so we'll do 23 and 24, each gecko getting a different thing. So page 23, Eros learned how to ride a skateboard, and my brain needs a little tech deck skateboard. And then page 24, while Agape helped the giant cook dinner. In my mind, so we'll have, this will be his head, his little chunky body, his little chunky legs, his tail up here, and then it's Eros on a skateboard, very poorly drawn. That's 23, and then 24 is going to be one of the table arm things on a grill, and we'll have Agape on the little table arm guy, and he's wearing a little fun little chef's hat and an apron. So 25 and 26 are going to have the same picture over the top. Gecko's laying on the giant, laying on a hammock. I don't know. Gecko's in a hammock, let's just say. Page 25 is... And finally, they watched the sunset in the giant's hammock. Page 26. This has been a great day, said Agape. Eros yawned. So sleepy. And replied, is it bedtime? Okay, so I got 3 more spreads, basically. 6 more pages. So 27 is going to be the giant dropping them back off in the tank. Agape and Eros hitched a ride home. They thanked the giant for a fun day. 28, I want to be in their cave. I'm just going to... 28 is in the cave, and it's one of the geckos putting on their little Oliver Twist sleep hat. Probably Agape. Agape seems to be the main character in this, and Eros is the instigator of trouble, which I think is accurate to the state of affairs of those geckos. They returned to their cave and put on their pajamas. 29, 30, 31, 32. So I got 4 pages left. 4 pages. I gotta make the most of 4 pages. They laid in their beds. This is not how you draw 3D shapes, but that's okay. They got little blankets there tucked in with. Eros, Agape called in the darkness. I'm going to write dealer's choice for the art description for 30, because I don't really have an idea for this one. It's simple. It's some simple stuff. Thank you for today. He continued. I was so nervous to leave, but I'm glad you talked me into it. Page 31. That's what friends are for, Eros said. Good night, Agape. Good night, buddy. Agape and Eros closed their eyes, ready for a good night's sleep. I like the idea of the last page, like, they're going to sleep, but then, like, there's a window, and you see, like, the crickets in the background of the window partying again. Like, the crickets are still, like, they're still doing their little dance club thing. Agape and Eros go to sleep. The room illuminated is what I wrote. I wrote illuminated by the light of the cricket party. As Agape and Eros drifted off to sleep, filled with wonder at what another amazing day of adventuring could hold, dreaming of their next big adventure. That's it. 32 pages of Agape and Eros. Take a ride. We did it. We absolutely did it. Springtime was finally here, and Agape couldn't wait to start cleaning the tank. Eros had a different objective: to work on his tan. The tank was always a mess coming out of winter hibernation. With Agape and Eros asleep, the crickets had the run of the place. And boy, do they love to party. Grab a broom, Eros, Agape said. We need to get this place shipshape. But we've been asleep all winter, Eros said. Can't we do something fun first? Like what? Agape asked. The giant came by every day to check on the geckos while they were asleep. It was excited to see Agape and Eros awake and moving. The giant lowered its hand into the tank for the duo to board. Let's roll, Eros said, climbing into the giant's hand. I don't know, Eros, Agape said. There's just so much to do around here. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Eros said. I guess a little adventure couldn't hurt. The giant put Agape and Eros on its shoulder and showed them all around the house, allowing them to see things they had never seen before. Agape cleared his camera. He was so excited to see the world outside of the tank. They saw a stampede of dust bunnies atop the fridge. I knew I should have brought my broom, Agape said. Next, the giant took them to see one of the 7 wonders of the world, a waterfall. Be careful, Eros. You don't know where that water's been. It tastes better at home, Eros replied. Then Agape marveled at the beauty of the underground world. It smells like feet in here, Eros said. Next, the giant took them to some kind of carnival. Who's that good-looking geck? Agape asked. Pardon me, sir, Eros said. The day was already so much fun, but Agape and Eros weren't prepared for what happened next. The world outside of the house was bigger than they ever could have imagined. The duo sat on the front porch, helping the giant finish his puzzle. Eros learned how to ride a skateboard, while Agape helped cook dinner. And finally, they sat in the giant's hammock and watched the sunset. This has been a great day, said Agape. Eros yawned so sleepily and replied, Is it bedtime, Agape? Agape and Eros hitched a ride home. They thanked the giant for a fun day and returned to their cave to put on their pajamas. They laid in their beds, turning off the lights. Eros, Agape called in the darkness, thank you for today. I was so nervous to leave, but I'm glad you talked me into it. That's what friends are for, Eros replied. Good night, buddy. Agape and Eros drifted off to sleep, dreaming of their next big adventure. And that is Agape and Eros Take a Ride. Okay, that's so I did it. Did I do it? Did I do it? Did I write a book? Did I write something? Anything? Did I do a project that was actually constructive and not me just playing video games to disassociate again? I think I did. Very, very rough first draft of it, but like that felt okay. That felt good, right? What do you think? What do you guys think at home? Let me know in the comments on the internet, because I need to know if I'm wasting my time or not. Next steps, I'm going to go over this another time or 2 or 10. And then I have a few people in mind that I want to ask about doing art. And then I get to maybe figure out the wonderful world of self-publishing. I don't really know how that works. So I'm going to be asking some people some questions. One thing that Taylor and I talked about early on, because we wanted to maybe do like short stories every now and then on the Patreon, is compiling like basically a coffee table book of our weird short stories and releasing it as a PDF on the Patreon, because you can do that on the Patreon. So that might be a way to go, is doing something like that. So stay tuned, I guess, for that. I don't really know. I don't know where to go from that. I'm kind of, my brain's fried and exhausted. So I am going to, I think, cap this here. So thank you guys so much for coming along this journey with me. I hope if you stuck around this long, you got something enjoyable out of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are looking forward to a new year with new possibilities and new episodes of the Writer's Black podcast. Last week I said we would be off next week and then back in the new year. At the time of recording this, it looks like we are going to be off the entire month of January, but we will be back in February with more episodes, more fun interviews, more Greg and Taylor crazy kookiness. We'll have the video version of the podcast coming out in January, so that will at least be something to hold you over till new episodes are coming out again. It's gonna be fun. We're looking forward to a lot of cool stuff in the new year, a lot of fun. Yay. In the meantime, guys, you can follow us over on social media. We are at Writers Black Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where you can see video versions of video clips, our little faces. There's another train. That's how long I've been doing this. We're getting a second train that I have to pause for. And as I mentioned, we have an email, writersblackpod@gmail.com, where you can send us questions. You can interact with us. If you have an author that you know, an indie author that you know that you want to suggest to us, please send them our way, because we would love to have them on the show. That's all I've got for today. Thank you all so much again for tuning into this episode. Again, it was a little weird, little experimental. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back in the new year. Until then, I've been Greg. You've been awesome. And keep writing.